Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I will be playing the Delta Green role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is Phlebotomy. It was written by Jeff Muller and his crew, and is from a collection called Fear Sharp Little Needles. It's available from Drive-Thru RPG. Our game master is John Dos Passos, and this is episode 3. Our recap will be given by Nathan Decker as his character Agent Pawn. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Nathan?
All right. We start, it is early morning. Agent Pawn is sipping on a 5-hour energy and staring at a bulletin board with red string attached to it. On his phone, there is an episode late in the series of London Falling. Paragon put together this board last night. I don't see what he sees. He sees the leads. He sees all the ways this goes. He sees Dr. Kleck and his strange sleep lab, his relationship with London Sinclair going back to when she was 5. He sees Lieutenant Tom Barclay of the LAPD, who is covering up something. Multiple things. London Sinclair's parents' death, the death of James Chang. I don't see that. On Prada, he sees the people. He got a chance to talk with Jess Bell himself through the Blaze of Glory agency. The cousin and lover of London Sinclair. But we don't know what connection he has to James Farnsworth, the sorcerer we killed out on a farm. He sees Robert and Emily Chang grieving their son, the death of their son, perhaps. London was involved in that. But it was Parsnip who put a lot of it together. He sees the money. He sees that Wuxi Pharma bought the sleep lab after our adventure there. He figured out the ties in with March Technologies and the Changs, one of which were terrified to go anywhere near, and the other mysterious allies, enemies, impossible to say. He also got us a track on Jess. We know he's in San Francisco, out of our reach for now, but maybe not forever. Patch, she sees the clinical facts. Maybe it's the doctor. She was willing to take the plunge. She watched the video of Jess and London. And it wasn't until we saw Frank Phelps, he showed us a little bit more. He's been hired possibly by the Changs to follow London Sinclair. And he had a better tape that involved some mumbling and groaning, maybe some chanting from Jess that London put a stop to, but something's not right there. She sees that the quick lab deaths that London brought about herself, she sees the blood of it. And I'm looking at the screen right now and I see a scared girl who's medicating herself after the death of her second mother, Vilma Rodriguez, due to an accident, her own blood exploding her from within. I see her trying to cope with alcohol and cocaine, and it doesn't work. But I can't think of her like that. I have to see her like a monster, and she's at the center of a target, and we're about ready to fire.
Wow. Thank you. That was very well done. Yeah, and so we return to our scene here. It is early morning in the Airbnb that the agents have sequestered for themselves. They're all standing around this little cork board as Paragon puts a pin in and puts one of those last little post-it notes up. Everyone's gathered around with coffees and little bits snacks for breakfast, bagels and things like that, whatever they can find. Yeah, feel free to take it away.
I'm trying to understand the Barclay connection. Surely he has to have been covering all this up, but why? Was he a cowboy that just didn't get with the program when the time came, or does he work for March? He couldn't be covering all this up out of, some altruistic feelings for London Sinclair. It's got to be something.
You don't suppose he's being blackmailed by somebody, do you?
Maybe. We should look into, I know that he's not the official name on the report behind the murder of that doctor, but
Niles,
maybe he was
Dr.
involved. Yes. Maybe he was involved somehow, because that's another one that went through LAPD. And that was 92, solidly in the cowboy years. So if he was involved in that, that might point more toward somebody that just never got with the program.
These cowboys, there's no records, is there? There's no way to track them. No way to figure it out.
Nothing.
Gee whiz.
We're gonna have to confront him at some point. It's just a matter of.
Yeah, and I was thinking, don't we have like video or something of the makeup artist where she died?
Yes.
So that might be some good leverage with him to say we've got proper evidence that something hinky went down and you didn't report it properly. So
what if the way to approach Barkley is when he is at his home, we could have one or two of us walk up to the front door and knock, dressed in very severe sort of clothing, and say, we need to ask you some questions. And when he asks us for identification, we become very vague and let him think that we are whatever organization he might be affiliated with. So we need you to tell us what we know. And then if he somehow manages to tell us that he was approached by Delta Green, then we can relax a little bit. Go ahead. I just can't think of a way to get him to spill the beans without frightening him a little bit.
I don't know that. I get the feeling that whatever his end game, he's someone like us, if not us exactly. Like his job aligns very closely with ours. I don't know that he will be afraid of us.
Could we do a profile write-up on him? I mean, is he an ultra American? Maybe he's Delta Green. Is he into the sciences? Then maybe he's March. We might be able to get more if we know more.
Right.
Let's check his social medias.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Definitely keep an eye out too for any of the Changs, because I have a hunch that that's the connection. I think he may be working with them.
Possible.
Okay. That's another group we need.
Working with London.
Yeah.
Possibly. I can see that.
We need to explore the Chang angle. I just don't know how to approach them. We have to tread very lightly there. If they're truly in with March Technologies, then we can't tip our hand.
The whole thing's a damn minefield.
That requires way more subtlety than I'm capable of. I'm as subtle as the gun I carry. So not it there.
I'm afraid my face is too well known. They'd be able to identify me rather easily.
I'll go.
None of us should be operating alone. If they're March, they're dangerous, very dangerous.
Then I'm sure Pawn or Parsnip can have my back.
Well, I was actually hoping to grab some of Parsnip's time to look into the limo company. But
I can go with you, Paragon, if needed.
I'm not the best with people, It's why I have computers, so I don't have to talk to people. But yeah, I can do whatever wherever I'm needed. What do you need?
Is Chang a Chinese name, do you think?
The question is, how do we meet these people, Barkley and the Changs? I mean, what is the pretense? I don't.
If the Chang's money goes as far as we think it might, just meeting with him, if he has any connection to them, is enough that we're on their radar. Hell, after we talked with Frank, they may be following us.
I've got an idea for maybe meeting up with Barkley. Actually, this is going to kind of sound like a Prada's idea, actually, but there's all these TV shows about missing persons and cold cases and whatnot. Well, we could just show up or call ahead and say that we're filming for London Sinclair. We're doing an expose on London Sinclair, and we're investigating the death of her parents or something like that, or her adoptive parents.
True crime podcasters. That's real big right now.
Yes.
I'm just always afraid in our day and age, it's so easy to just check on those things very quickly with a look on the internet or on the phone, to know if our story's fake. It's a real tricky situation. I was thinking you could do the same thing to the Chains that I just suggested we do to Barkley. Show up and not give them an explanation and make them a little nervous.
So just show up to their homes.
Like doing a cold reading when you're reading somebody's mind.
That might not be terrible. They the way they hired Frank, he seemed not to be willing to do anything illegal. You may be safer with the Changs than with March Technologies, which probably isn't as concerned about that.
I think I'm good with that. I'm good at reading people. Yeah. So we'll do you know who we are.
Did Frank tell us that he was hired to kill her?
I thought he did, and he wouldn't.
They're looking into ways to dealing with it.
Okay.
They seem to want to do this at least somewhat legally or with some caveat beyond just they don't want her dead yet.
Well, maybe
or can't figure it out.
Agent Paragon could go into this with, I heard you need somebody taken care of. They didn't seem to be very careful in hiring Frank.
Well, I'm thinking of maybe extending an olive branch to Mr. Phelps. If it does get us an in. It's risky, but
not a bad idea.
I was just afraid that he knew something and he was leading us into a trap, but maybe he wasn't.
I view Phelps as expendable. I like Paragon's idea of extending an olive branch, getting an in, and take care of him if we need to in the end.
I said you can blame the whole thing on him if you do it right.
That as well.
Yeah, you've still got that number, right, Pawn? I'll take that off of you.
Throw you the burner. Swap burners.
Okay.
You might have to tell him it's not me when you call him. He might not. I don't know.
Oh, don't worry.
Right.
I'm trying to think of a way that we can confuse them into giving us information.
Well, who are you going to go with, Prada?
Well, I was going to say I could actually fly to San Francisco and at least talk to Mr. Bell. I mean, if I can't get an interview with.
I wouldn't go alone.
I would definitely go with you for that one. I think that matches a couple of things we want to follow up on.
So you three and then Patch and I.
Yeah, I'll wait. I can drive. I can drive anybody wherever they need to go.
About how far are we talking to LA to San Francisco?
Oh, that's an 8-hour drive.
Okay.
With that we can do after we're done in LA.
Yeah, you don't want to be
but
stuck 8 hours away with no one
Right.
to help you.
Do we
We could
just send us to Barclay then?
You all could do Barclay while we do the Changs, if you think.
So once
Unless you
got
think
them-
we could gain more information first by talking to the Changs that we could then bring up in a conversation with Barclay.
maybe we do them
Difficult to say.
separately, one at a time.
Okay. Do we have the Chang's home address? I'm assuming that's easy enough to find.
You know, if they've got an office and he's a plastic surgeon, or she's a plastic surgeon.
Yes. Let's see. Just who?
I mean, we can't just go marching into their office and let ourselves
Bureaucracy.
in. Like there's gonna be questions. I don't want questions.
I could go in for consultation. Tell them I'd like to get my chin tucked or
Wow.
Go with Paragon. Go with Paragon if you want that front. That's fine by me.
Patch, could you actually do me a bureaucracy roll, because you have the highest? It looks like.
Oh no.
So you could try to
Okay.
you could try to get their
No.
lease records.
No
Right.
less.
Unfortunately, their lease is not a public one. You know that it looks like they definitely have property in California. You do know that they you do have the office, of course, like or rather their medical centers. So like, you know, you can go to the plastic surgery clinic that Robert Chang works at, or there is a hospital where Emily Chang works as an orthopedic surgeon. So you do have their places of work, but unfortunately you don't have their home lease at this point. Rather, you could try and use you could fall on one of your bonds to get you that information and take a bond hit at cost.
How much is the cost?
This would be, you would roll the bond. On a success, it would be -1. On a failure, it'd be minus a D4 from the bond.
Okay. I'll do that. So I'm
Alright,
I'm sorry.
so you're going to
bond score
roll-
is- yeah, go ahead.
So go ahead and roll against your bond times 5, if that makes
A
sense.
bond times 5. Okay.
What it currently is for this
Okay.
bond. Which one are you going to use?
I'm going to use my partner, Daniel.
Okay.
That is just a success on the nose.
All right. So it's just a -1 hit. You ask your partner Daniel for help. They do some trickery with a VPN, and they're able to spoof where they're looking from and get access to their lease records. And it looks like they do have a rather nice home just outside of LA. Looks like around Valencia.
Very well.
that's not.
It does look very nice. You imagine there's a security system, all that kind of thing. But yeah, and so you've got that address as well as the address of both their offices, or both their places of work, rather.
Well, Prada, do you think you want to go in under the guise of a consult, maybe?
Well, I tend to sometimes be rather forward. I don't know if it's a good idea. I could go in for a consult, and once I'm alone, and technically doctors' offices are not allowed to have cameras or listening devices.
You're right.
And I could just say, look, the real reason why I'm here is because we're aware that you're trying to get rid of Miss London, and we may or may be able to help you. We need to know what's going on, what your story is.
That or Paragon's idea of getting to them through Phelps, which I think is actually not a bad idea either.
Be less of
Oh.
a shock.
Do we
Certainly
wanna
when
do-
we just go out of the blue?
Well,
we wanna do both?
idea means we might have to run for our lives.
Okay, we'll do my idea then.
Well, make sure that you're going to meet with the Changs and not some representative from March Technologies.
Right.
So some leverage. We need leverage though to hand over to Phelps, something that he doesn't already have. just to show a sign of our good faith.
Tell him we'll go in together on getting rid of her. Maybe, like we have ways of knowing where she is, and
if you're a gambler, you can always bluff.
He's expendable.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can always say we know what you did with the car, or tug on the old James heartstring. This is for your son.
Are you talking about the Changs, or are you talking about Phelps?
The Changs, yes.
I was asking Paragon.
I'm asking about Phelps.
Okay.
Because we can.
Yeah, just tell him we'll go in.
Find out.
Him. Yeah, we can cooperate. Whatever.
I'll give him a call whenever we're ready.
All right. So who wants to do what first? Or sorry, what was that, Prada?
I was just going to say, what do we know about Phelps, actually? Have we done a background check on the man?
They have a fake identity of 2 years.
Fake. Which at least proves he's not totally incompetent.
He's not as incompetent that he's making himself out to be.
He sussed us out pretty easy.
Which is dangerous if he's clever enough to feign this level of incompetence.
So you're going with me, Patch?
I'll go with you unless you want to go. I'm fine either way.
I'll drive if you're going to both go in.
Okay.
So I'll give him a call whenever we're ready.
I think do it.
All right.
Trigger. Let's go.
Let's get this over with.
Hello? Who is this?
Mr. Phelps.
Yes, this is he. Who am I speaking? Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
This is a friend of the asshole with the blonde hair.
Ah, okay. I understand. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I was wondering if you wanted to do lunch. Grand Central Market. Here they have this great sunflower ramen.
Oh, you tired of Denny's?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Let's see here. Sure. I could do lunch. What was the purpose of the meeting?
An olive branch.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. What time did you say?
Noon.
Okay. Sure.
Right. You know my face.
I do. And he kind of chuckles and hangs up.
Done and done.
Okay. Is there anything we need from the group before we go do that? Anything Parsnip can figure out
I think
or look up for us?
Did Pawn want me to do something?
I think we can do this. If we're sticking behind, we can do this while they're doing their thing. I just wanted to try and find that limo company that might be an end to getting to Bell in London.
Got it. Yeah, we can do that later.
And Paragon, where did you tell me you wanted to meet? What did you say? Did you say Grand Metro? What was it?
Grand Central Market.
Grand Central
Market.
Very
crowded food court.
Awesome. Yeah. So, did anybody want to do anything in preparation before we do the lunch meeting?
No, I can't think of anything.
All right. So you continue your chats and your research through the early morning, and then head out there.
I'll tell you what we will do though is if we're going to have it there, then when we go inside the mall, I'm going to split off from you, and I'm going to sit somewhere nearby.
Yeah, I'd love to have everyone in the crowd disperse just in case stuff goes sideways.
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like so is it Patch and Paragon are going to go, or just Paragon? So Patch and Paragon are going to go to meet at the food court, and then Hades Vandermeer is going to try to blend in with the Prada is going to blend in with the crowd and kind of just observe.
And
Meanwhile,
think it's fair that I should have a gun in this case, so I'll have a gun just in case.
Sure.
I have to shoot somebody.
Yeah, like a medium pistol from the armaments you brought with you.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and it sounds like Pawn and Parsnip are going to do some research. Meanwhile, all right, sounds good. So when do you want to arrive early at the market, or what was the plan there for the food court?
I'm gonna arrive late.
Ooh, okay. All right. So do you all want to arrive late, or do you want to get there and then wait and go in?
I like getting there and waiting and watching, but not showing up to him until late.
Okay. Let's see here. It looks like you've got some pretty good scores. So you arrive at around noon. You just sort of casually wait a little bit so you can go in a little casually late. You do see right around 11:59, 11:58. You see a car pull up, and you see who you recognize as Frank Phelps. He walks out and goes inside. A few minutes go by. At what time would you like to go inside?
How many people are in the car?
It looked like he did come alone.
Rideshare?
No, he's actually using a vehicle. Looks like he's got a rental car. And looked like he was actually on the phone and hung it up when he was walking in.
Okay. We'll write down that number then and make him sweat a little for maybe 5 minutes and then show up.
Yeah, so about 12:06, 12:07. So why don't we, you said you're going to be slipping into the crowd, right, Prada?
Yes, correct.
Why don't you give me either a disguise or a stealth would work here.
Okay. What's really disguise? Oh, disguise is pretty good.
Or if you had art acting, I'd let that too, but I don't think that was. I don't think your art is in that. No.
Well, so, I got a 22, which is
wonderful. Yes, that is a critical success
out of 55.
So it's like where in the mall is Hades Vandermeer because he just disappeared.
Did he dress down? Unheard.
He must have. Yeah.
He's hiding in the Prada store over there.
I like that. Maybe he left his nice hat or maybe his nice vest, in the car, kind of like a little outfit change up to be a little, like you said, dressed down.
I'm wearing a Rams t-shirt.
I like that. Just really, really blending in, really sticking it out. So
Prada, you look common.
Yeah, so he slips, sort of into the group, he's probably like in one of those groups, he stands in one of the long lines at one of the food establishments and then, maybe orders a small thing and, eats it and pretends he's, waiting for his kid to come back from the playground or from outlet store or something. And he has a nice little vantage point of the table that you are all approaching where you see there is a Frank Phelps. He's like sipping on an orange Julius, just sort of sitting there at the table. He's got like a little notebook. He's scribbles something and kind of closes it as you both walk up.
I will arrive with a tray of ramen. One for him and one for us.
Oh no, you shouldn't have.
That's what friends do.
Yeah, he says, well, my doctor would yell at me about, I told you to watch the sodium and the carbs and all that, but I can't say no, right?
It's all vegan. It's all vegan, made from sunflowers.
Yeah, incredible. I can't say no. And he kind of starts stirring it up and playing with it, but you do notice that he kind of waits for you to take a bite first.
I'll take a bite.
Yep, and then he also follows suit. Like he'll eat a little bit. He seems to know his way around some chopsticks.
Excellent.
He starts scooping it down. He's like, oh, pretty good. You said this was veggie?
Yeah, it's made entirely from vegetables.
Pretty good.
So olive branch.
Yeah. What do you got? Lay it on.
Lay it on you? Okay. Well, first, we need to know who you work for.
I thought I'm trying to make this as clear as I could to your friend without, kind of going against what I said I wouldn't do, which is just outright name the folks.
Scout's honor.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that, a concerned couple of folks that are close to a victim of London's misdeeds, whether intentional or not.
Do you need me to say it? Do you want me to say it?
I mean, I suppose you could say it, and I could do something that you could interpret as me agreeing, but isn't an outright, agreement.
Okay. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Cheng.
And he kind of nods and like sort of takes a slow kind of not direct nod at you. He kind of like nods his head and takes a long sip of his drink. Kind of slurps it. I think we have an understanding there.
Okay. Do you know who they work for?
What do you mean?
Nothing. But we did confirm that you are working for them, and let's just say they are very, very angry about their son's death.
Yeah, they're very concerned and passionate about this whole matter. Yeah. Why do you ask?
Just wanted to get a motive. Quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, that thing, that monster that is London. I mean, she's responsible for that kid's death. That's the brass tacks of it, and that's just one of the skeletons in her closet. So I mean,
okay. Well, now that we have the name of your employer, what other leverage do you have?
How do you mean?
What other information can you give us?
I mean, I gave you and one of your partners quite a bit there.
Mr. Phelps, can you tell me how you came to acquire that video?
Which one?
The one from the dress, the hairdresser incident, makeup artist, whatever she was. Yes.
I will admit, I paid $1 million to a very salacious paparazzi.
I see.
There's some people that they know the way around. They're like that fellow you got. Very good with devices, tech things. They can work their magic, get stuff you couldn't believe. He managed to get some sort of wire cam footage. I don't know how he got it, but it was damn worth it. Quite a hefty price, but it was sort of a package deal.
So how many people are you working with?
Well, why does that matter? How many people are you working with? Well, I don't need to know that, but
you saw with your own eyes.
Well, I know how many people are on your team. I don't know how many people you're working with.
Okay.
That feller, John, right? He did tell you I used to work for the government. So,
Did Pond tell him that? I would have remembered. Did Pond tell him that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait.
It seemed like this guy knew a little bit.
Pond that. He told
did
Pond that
did Pond tell the team?
Yes.
I would assume that was something that you mentioned. Yeah, there was a lot that you mentioned that you had in that conversation with Carr. So
you seem to know an awful lot about us, Mr. Phelps. How has that come to be?
I won't lie to you. I looked into you. It's part of what what I'm supposed. What I do. I was looking into the Wuxie lab. Just the quick lab, rather the phlebotomy lab incident, just like you were, and noticed you all there.
So us working together means we're just sharing information, nothing else?
What do you mean?
This olive branch. You just want us to give you information?
I gave you quite a bit last night.
You did. What exactly are you expecting of us?
I think you can help. I think we have the London situation has to be dealt with. The thing needs to be dealt with.
Why don't we talk to your employer together, and then we can work something out?
That's not going to go well.
Why not?
technically speaking, my paycheck is written by a company, and they don't like necessarily, they own the company. So like, they're kind of secretive about it. They don't like it being public knowledge. So it's kind of a thing, they're not really want to talk to you. They don't really have much to say. I don't know what they could tell you that I couldn't, or that you couldn't, that you don't already know from your investigation.
So the company name?
Well, the person that you guessed that I, didn't directly say was correct or not, what company do they own?
Right. Okay.
But, hypothetically, if somebody were a caregiver in a certain sense, it might not be the best for their public image if they were prancing around that they also run some sort of a large-scale operation that makes money off of the people that they're claiming to care from, like the pharmaceutical system. So, hypothetically.
Interesting. And do you act in the interest of this company by saying that something needs to happen to London Sinclair?
Well, I think for the general public, something needs to happen.
I don't care about the general public.
He actually kind of looks a little confused, like, wait, you don't?
No, I care what this company thinks.
Wait, I'm confused. You don't care about the general public safety? You care about what a company thinks? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Mr. Phelps, I care. Yes, you're right. I do care about the general public.
Okay. I was like, maybe I was wrong. Like, are you not working for the U.S. government or something? Like, what's going on here?
Yes, we're working for the national health.
Well, you're not working for not them directly.
No, of course. Just like how you're not working for your company directly.
Well, close enough. I mean, tell you what. You're right. You sit in an olive branch. I gave you a lot yesterday, but perhaps I can give you a little more. I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure you all know about London's medical history. A lot of that's, of course, HIPAA, but some of it is you can get if you grease the right wheels. Some people are a lot sleazier than they might like to make you like you or their mothers or families think or see. You know about Dr. Kleck, right? That was one of her primary psychiatric helps or whatnot. What you call it. He might be a good person to talk to or see if she's been having been visiting him at all recently. That's apparently where she is turned to before.
We're looking into that.
All right. Well, there you go. I suggest that might be a good thing for you to look into.
Okay. So at the end of the day, what do you want?
What do I want?
Yeah.
Me personally.
Sure, you personally. Do you want people to be safe? You want London Sinclair
to not be a threat? Nobody ever to die or have their lives ruined or negatively affected because of that creature. That's what I want.
Sure.
And I mean, and I want to get paid while I'm doing it. A guy's got to make a living. Retirement isn't cheap as much as as strange as I feel having to say that. It should be self-explanatory, but it's less cheap than they even told us. So, government, government, kickbacks for retired employees is only so much. So, then I got, alimony and all that shit.
Well, Mr. Phelps,
yeah.
I think we're all of the same mind here, the same goals. And I feel like this is a win for you. You have a number of other people helping you deal with a person that you yourself feel like you are not capable of dealing with. And you walk away with all the money from your employer, and you don't have to cut us in on that at all. So consider that our contribution, and you can keep us in the loop if there's any other information that you learn of that would help us in this deal and help us to eliminate London. And we keep you in the loop if we learn of a way to effectively do that we could use your help with.
That works for me. I'm assuming you all are getting paid as well.
Yeah, we're offering to do the dirty business that you don't seem to want to do, Mr. Phelps. But we are going to need your help with any potential information that'll get us there.
I understand what you're laying down. And if that's true and that, the rest of your team agrees, then yeah, I can get you with the information you need. I can put you in the right place in the right time.
Well, as you know, it is not just myself and the gentleman sitting next to me. So that is a consultation we're going to need to make with others, but consider that opportunity being laid at your feet at this moment.
In that case, you can expect to hear back from me.
Excellent.
But dessert? It's on me.
Cheesecake sounds wonderful.
I'm drinking my dessert. I've already had more than enough sugar for the day. But I appreciate the lunch. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Well, if that's that, I've got some things to look into, and I'll keep you in the loop as far as the latest lead on London.
Excellent.
Hopefully, we can get this taken care of ASAP. And he will stand up and bid his adieu and walk away back towards the parking lot.
I don't like this. I don't like that guy one single bit. Paragon.
Yeah, he knows way too much.
He knows a lot. How the hell did he know that we've got a tech guy?
Because he's got a tech guy.
I could use a cigarette, and I quit 5 years ago.
And on that note, Agent Prada, is there anything else you wanted to do? You were able to witness this. Looks like a regular lunch meeting. He gets up to leave. Looks like he's heading for the parking lot.
I'll follow him carefully out, just to see that he gets in a car and drives away and doesn't get into a big black limo.
Go ahead, do me an alertness, because you definitely see him. Looks like he gets in his car, he starts it up. But let's see exactly what the extent of what you see is.
You got a 30 out of 60. So
yeah, that's fast. Yeah, so you see, it looks like he gets in his car, he starts it up. He waits a moment, he plays around on his phone or something like that with the radio or something, and then he looks like he does start driving. He pulls out of the parking lane. He goes down. He makes a right, goes around the parking garage. Looks like he's going to leave, but then at the last moment turns back into the parking garage and seems to park on the first level there.
All right. So I'm guessing is that he is hoping to follow us. I'll meet them back at the car.
All right. So you go to meet the back of the car. Meanwhile, Agent Pawn and Parsnip, I know there was some stuff you wanted to look into. So what was the first thing on the list?
The first thing on the list was to see if we could identify where the limo was coming from. Did they rent it? Do they own it? Something like that.
Yeah, it seems to be there seems to be some a semi-national company. There's an office based out of LA, the Platinum Limousine Company. They do limousines and chauffeur services. You get the number of a secretary. which you can, try to call. But it sounds like this is something that you might have to, give some sort of reason or, bribe your way into getting. If you want, the records of where the limo's been, or things like that.
Okay. Yeah, we're just. I'm calling from a dealership about a recall notice on the limo, and we need to figure out where things have been and all that kind of stuff.
You mean the Ford's F-76 long boy variant? That you're talking about that exact model?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've discovered there's a fatal error with it, and we just want to make sure nothing's gone wrong. We just want to check everything out and make sure it's all good.
And the lady on the phone, she kind of sounds concerned. She's like, well, okay. So it's a full recall. You need all of them need to come back to the factory. We're gonna have to send up a replacement. Okay. All right. And who did you say what did you say your name was? So I can tell them, for the report.
Oh, my name's Nathan Decker.
Nathan Decker from Ford. Okay. Is that like the guy that you related to that the Decker guy that does the tools and stuff?
No, I don't think so. No, Decker's a pretty common last name.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
There's a lot of us.
Okay, so Nathan Decker from Ford. Okay. Is that the? Wait, so you need? It's a factory recall.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Are you going to send the invoice, or do we need to send you something?
Yeah, I mean, we're really trying to figure out. We're really not 100% sure what's going on with the components in this car, and so we just want to make sure that what we understand is right. So
Sure.
If you can just send us some records about where the car's been, its performance, that kind of stuff, so we can check it against what we've got and make sure that everything is good. We're calling around all over the place. This has been a complete nightmare. Your help would be most appreciated.
Okay, I think, and so why don't you go ahead and give me either a persuade, accounting, or bureaucracy roll? I feel like either of those you could probably swing here.
Okay, persuade, accounting, or bureaucracy. Mm-hmm. Let's go with accounting, since that seems to be pretty decent.
Right.
33 out of 50.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you don't know how you manage it, but you swing some sort of story, and she says, "All right, well, yeah, you should. I send the, where should I send the report?"
Oh, and I'll give her like an email address.
Okay. Yeah, something real, something real enough sounding that you've set up that would make sense for like a Ford or like a quality assurance kind of thing. Yeah. And it's it takes a little while, but surely by the time they get back, maybe even before then, a little bit, maybe 20 or 30 minutes go by, you get an email. It isn't exact locations, but you do get a detailed report. Seems that they give you, they have one of that exact model limo, and they are kind of concerned with what might be causing this. So they're going to go ahead and swap that one out with a different model. They're as soon as they can, they're getting the people to bring it in and getting another one brought in. But it looks like they were concerned because this was a limo that was doing cross national driving sometimes. Either the person being chauffeured would either fly and then the limo would be brought for them, or they would just go in the limo. But it was going, from California to Ohio, down to Texas sometimes, back to California, over to different, once in a while it would go to Alabama, at least for this specific version. But it doesn't seem like anything other than any other locations other than that. But a very detailed report. The celebrity was using it, to go all across, town, or all across the, country rather.
Okay. The other thing that I wanted to try to research was about Mr. Inspector Detective Barkley himself. I want to see if I can find any background information on him. specifically, was he ever reprimanded for anything at the police force? Did he ever get any trouble? Parking tickets? I don't care how mundane it might be, actually. Has he ever been married? Kids, that kind of stuff.
Why don't you do a, this is going to have to be a bureaucracy. Or actually, you could do a bureaucracy, or you could do a computer science at -20 if you wanted to try to hack into the LAPD's system.
Computer science -20.
Yes, but there is risk of them potentially you would have to potentially change IPs if they catch on to you, because then you'd have they would catch on to there was an intrusion, and so you'd have to swap VPNs and change all that out. It would sort of delay your research.
Well, that's actually higher than my bureaucracy. If at a -20%, so I'll try that.
All right,
try computer science. No.
All right. Unfortunately, you're trying to get in. You feel like you kind of you get onto their website. You sort of spoof a login to get in. You try to make your way to the internal affairs documents, but it's then that you sort of reach a sort of like a firewall, basically, where you try to access something, and it's proper authorization, not granted. Your account does not have the right level of authorization to access this, and it is unfortunately logs you out, and you quickly realize you've been detected, and you, like I said, you have to log off and quickly disconnect from the internet. Change your VPN to spoof from a different IP because the one you just were using is burned. And so meanwhile, the others are making their way back. Is there anything you wanted to do? Or sorry, the others are going to be making their way back. So you all are meeting back up at the car at the mall.
Well, I wanted to make sure, I told them as we get into the car, we're going to go in a different direction because your friend is waiting at the parking structure for us to drive out.
Maybe we can all just split up. Some of us take public transportation.
There's other driveways in and out. There's never just one driveway. So
he knew far too much about us, and it was not good.
I just don't want him following us. But we can go out the other ramp.
Well, if he's gone on his word, he'll give us information.
This all is just so. There's something that we're missing. There's multiple things that we are missing to put this spider web of yours together correctly.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe we just have to keep going, and hopefully it'll fall into our lap.
Let's set up guard shifts at night just in case. Just look out.
Yeah, he clearly works for March in some capacity. Yeah. He's not the bumbling fool that we originally took him for.
We should probably move to another location then.
I like that.
Yep.
Go ahead and give me, as you're leaving, a stealth or drive as you try to go out through the other exit.
All of us, or just
whoever the person driving or navigating, if you wanted to use stealth.
Got a decent stealth. All right.
Or disguise.
Hey, proud of you doing it.
Disguise would not work here. Unfortunately, you're not disguising the car.
Yeah, just repaint it, huh?
I got an 89. So he knows what to look. He knows what car to look for.
He's professional.
Bothers me even more. And so that means that I have to go on a ridiculous through town losing the guy.
No, actually, that's what you think might be happening. But as you pull out, you make your way to an intersection, and it's not his car that you spot a few cars back. It's a different car. You feel like is starting, like as you're starting to drive around, you feel like it's kind of subtly following you from a few cars back. And so, it looks like they are, you do have a tail. It looks to be either he changed cars very quickly or it's a different tail.
All right. So I'm going to take the 215 to the 5 The
Okay.
5 to the 91, and the 91 to the 50.
Okay.
Up to the 50. Yeah.
Go ahead and you want to give me a luck roll?
36.
Yeah, so it takes a little bit of time. You do use just a little bit of time, but the others are researching away, and so luckily enough, you sort of take them on take the tail on a little bit of a wild, sort of a chase around, the many clogged and congested, California streetways and expressways or in highways, and luckily enough, in fact, as you're doing a sort of a change from one to another, you luckily enough, it looks like as they're leaving, there's sort of an accident, and it happens at a convenient enough point that you're able to sort of get out, and then the police, kind of move into, with the tow truck right at a good time that it kind of blocks them, and it seems like you were able to lose them, luckily, just by so like I said, a few hours go by, so I will as you're driving back, I will ask Parsnip and Pawn, now that you sort of re-gotten yourself situated, was there anything else that you wanted to look into before the others re-arrive?
Yeah. What was there? What else did you want to look at?
Honestly, getting that limo bit's kind of the big one. Because I was thinking if we could replace the driver, that gives us a good access to London and Jess at the same time. I'd prefer we do that way. Otherwise, I think I might be able to taunt Jess out. But that's plan B. I want to see if I can get some. Does anybody have any explosives knowledge on our team?
Not me.
Not me either.
Flashbang.
Yeah, that's too bad. That honestly,
any black market contacts?
It's more of the setting it up and whatnot, because the last thing you want to do is set up C4 incorrectly. That will be the last thing you do.
Yeah.
And we may just have to do this like an old gangster movie, drive them under some underpass and riddle the limo with bullets. Otherwise, I call up Jess Bell and tell them I killed his daddy. But that's not possibly my preferred method.
That might make him angry.
I was hoping for that. Hoping he might then decide to come out to the desert to meet us, and then we hit him with a semi.
Yeah. Oh, I remember something I wanted to do, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to see if Barclay was receiving money from an odd source.
Okay. So this would be an accounting roll in the case.
Okay.
Let's try to dip into his financial records.
That's better. That's a 45 out of 50.
Yeah. So you're able to get into some stuff, some public tax records, things like that, from previous years. And it looks like in the years since these two incidents, it doesn't seem you don't seem like there's any odd or unexplainable methods of income. It looks like he works as a police officer, so he gets some stuff for there. It looks like he is a volunteer reserve, a firefighter, and he's in the reserves with the National Guard, so he gets a sort of a pension from both of those as well. Doesn't seem to be any strange backers or patrons or people that no strange money going into his account. It looks like. So he seems legit as far as his financial records.
That's terrible news for us.
Yeah, that means he's not on the take somewhere.
Damn it. That means he's hiding it for some other reason and we just don't. Is it possible what he saw with James's death? The kid, obviously. Maybe that took him over the edge.
It's possible.
And as you're doing some research, you actually open you're kind of looking around, you open up a news article upon while Parsnip's working, and it's actually the reason you opened it up is because it mentions London Sinclair in the headline, and it's actually it is a news article. It is from like one of the popular tabloids, and it mentions London Sinclair spotted at Ohio airport filming new new piece, new movie or new show, and so it's about questioning, she's going to Ohio for some rural shoot on some for some maybe farmhouse movie or some new series or something or some audition, very kind of tabloidy stuff. And it mentions that the information was provided and backed by GNS, the Global News Services, which is basically paparazzi.
I mean, we know he kind of shows that to Parsnip. We know Phelps uses the paparazzi. It's always possible that we, find somebody, pay them some money and say, tell us where they are. I'm tempted to go the limo route, though. It sounds like they've really cracked down on paparazzi themselves, so it might be easier to just knock out a driver, take the car to wherever the heck he's going. Take him out.
That's for sure. It's too bad we don't have any paparazzi on our side. I mean, it seems like they got all the great video and everything, actually. Yeah, I mean, could I do any research into GNS, figure out anything? Are they owned by another corporate company? Is there any kind of...
Yeah, I mean, as you look into it, you get into contact with somebody from this tabloid magazine, and they basically send you sort of a DM. You chat back a little bit, and they're kind of like, hey, if you can, drop some money in my Venmo, I can maybe slide you the name of the, who got us this information.
I can certainly try. I'm not usually up for bribing people. What's a good bribe, Pawn?
Whatever they want plus 10% usually. It's here, I'll chip in a bit myself.
Okay.
My wife is going to kill me, but I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, did you want to make the accounting or intelligence roll then, Pawn?
Oh boy, that seems like a bad idea. He'd love to provide the funding.
Well, that's what that would mean. Is because this will be an acquisition roll, basically, because this is it'll be a sizable bribe, and so that means it's going to be either one off of a bond and a success as you spend some of your personal money, or a D4 on a failure. This is not a huge amount of money, but it's not a small amount either.
No, he'll do that. This is good.
Dip into the vacation fund a little bit, maybe.
He's dipping into the vacation fund.
All right, so give us a roll of your hire of either intelligence or accounting.
It's going to have to be intelligence.
Hey,
I don't know numbers very well.
If you're not,
did roll a 4.
Nice.
So I know them well enough.
Yeah, when you're not in a situation to, do a logic puzzle where you'd have to, use intelligence or remember something. Accounting rolls acquisition rolls are the only time we even seem to see intelligence sometimes. It's funny, but yeah. Which is very useful because acquisitions are very important. So yeah, with that 4, you can mark 1. Who are you going to mark 1 off of?
Against the way I think vacation fund is exactly that. She'll realize they're not going to Acapulco this year.
You're like, hey, maybe we could go to Tampa or Miami instead of Acapulco. You didn't take all of it; you just skimmed off the top. And she's like, come on, very disrespectful. So you lose a little bit, but it's you can make something out of the trip. You can make something out of the bonds.
We can talk about it when I get home. Yeah,
exactly. All right, and you are able to secure the money, and you send it over, and you get the name Jules Thomas. He's apparently the person with the tabloid claims that they are a sort of tech wizard for GNS, freelance stringer, and they seem to think that he might actually be where the sex tape came from as well. And it seems that he's very good with working tech devices to get stuff, for GNS, because they're salacious celebrity news, and they're always interested in buying stuff, on London Sinclair, and have even paid for lawyers to back to sort of back Jules and his semi not legal stuff. So you get the name of Jules Thomas, and as you're sort of doing this, you kind of feel like good on you for accomplishing this, but almost like, dang, that was easier than you expected. Almost like this kind of thing has been happening before. Like, you get the idea that these roads have kind of been walked before, and that people have been paid for information about London and things like that before. Obviously, paparazzi are very salacious and willing to get down and dirty, but it seems like especially around London in this case, people are willing to say certain things if you grease the wheels. All right. And I suppose it's around then when the others finally arrive from their little detour to get rid of the tail. I should also note that I'll remind you that Frank's car is a sedan, as I mentioned the other episode. The tail that you had before was a minivan, like a Subaru. So it seems like there's Frank Phelps sedan, second tail, minivan, Subaru. So 2 separate vehicles, which you have identified.
We are
all right. So you're all together.
We had to shake a tail. Somebody's following us. We need to move locations.
Pack it up.
Right.
Head out. That guy knew way too much.
I'm thinking that we need to switch out our cars too.
Yeah.
All right. I'll close out this Airbnb, arrange for another one. Someone want to turn in the rental and get a new one.
Yeah, I'll drive back and swap it out.
I'll move the stuff.
Yeah, you have to take down the cork board and put in the new rental.
Make sure you're not being followed.
Yeah.
All right, so we get all that done. It takes us probably 2 hours. I'll call ahead to where we're going to move. I'll pick something random. La Cordon Bleu. No, that's a restaurant.
So, with what we've been saying, this individual, Frank, more serious than we thought, knows all about us, but seems to be open to us taking out Sinclair.
I think he recognizes the threat and that he isn't capable of handling it. And he's happy to let someone else do the dirty work, especially if he still gets paid.
So the question is, do we worry deeply about who he's working for? Or, well, we know who he's working for, but whatever they want, who cares? As long as she's dead.
That's probably the best attitude that'll get us all out of it alive, honestly.
I agree.
Report back to Delta Green that this is March.
Right.
Surely they'll understand that this is way above our pay grade.
Right. The question is now, how do we get close enough to London to get rid of her?
Well, Parsnip made some really good inroads with the limo company in getting them to swap out their cars. We knock out switch drivers. We do a little ruse where it's like, oh, your old driver couldn't get the license. Whoever's doing that drives beneath an underpass, and the rest of the team's waiting there with flamethrowers. Metaphorically, could be any gun.
Something
What about
tells
the
me
rest of-
that we need to find just a little more information out, though.
That's where I
Something
was.
doesn't nothing adds up here.
We need
Dr.
to Kleck, possibly. I don't know if we need to chase down the Barkley lead.
For one,
He's
we don't
clean
know
as
for
far as I can
sure
see.
who the bad guys are.
Then why is he covering all of this up? If he's covering it up, he wouldn't be working for March, right? Because they would just want her dead. I don't.
Here's what I think makes a lot of sense. If she is the love child of James Farnsworth, and that she has somehow become the thing that they have been working towards, then they will have put people in place to protect her. That could be the police guy. That's almost definitely Jess.
Yes.
Jess Bell is there to protect her. And there's probably other people there to protect her. So we're probably coming up against two groups, one on her side and one against her. And my guess is the Changs are against her. And March probably, you said it earlier, I think that March and the Changs are trying to use each other to gain something. March is trying to gain her for a weapon. The Changs are trying to use them to get rid of her. But she's got her own group, and whether she knows that or not.
Well, did you say that the blood bank, the quick lab, that was owned by Wuxie? Isn't that what he said?
I think so, yeah.
So that begins to paint, I agree with you, Agent Prada. I'm beginning to think that's painting a clear picture of this was not some random thing she decided to do. This was the first attack. She is attacking back at March, at the Changs. She knows now.
What if there are some other people involved? Wouldn't she, if she needed blood work, wouldn't she have her own doctor? And wouldn't the Farnsworth have arranged that so that the doctor knows also what's going on?
Right. This was an attack, yeah.
Well, Patch would know that to do a blood test for like a drug and alcohol screening or something like that, you would have to do it at a facility that had the right approval and that had something like here where they filmed it so that they could know that you gave the sample.
That is true.
Well, if that were the case, then why did she do this? Because if you had to get a legal drug test, you would get it and it would get done and that would be the end. You wouldn't cause people to explode where you're going to do this. Something went wrong. Something must have gone wrong.
I think this is exactly what she wanted. This was an attack against the people that are going after her.
And she didn't come here to get the blood test.
Right.
She came here for some reason.
For the swap, perhaps.
And if we reviewed that tape over and over again, we're sure that she switches that needle on purpose. Okay. Well, once again, I think it's dangerous to deal directly with either group. You might be right that we need to isolate them. If he is her protector, then what if we trick them? What if we lie to them and say that London's in danger and they need to come to a location for safety?
Right.
Kill them there. Pretend like we're in on it. I mean, we know enough information that we could probably fake being in on it. Don't you think?
Barclay is a protector for London? That's our theory?
No. Well, maybe that. But I think I was actually talking about Jess.
Yes, Jess for sure.
Phone, he seemed very protective of her, even on the phone.
I mean, I agree. I think we have to get them out and finish it there. There's a lot extra going on here, but at the end of the day, we have to take them out and quickly, because if she decides that she wants to up the game or if Wuxi, the Changs, whoever attack back and fail, it's going to get worse much faster.
I bet you that they're aware of Wuxi and the Changs, which would mean
Right.
that we could actually use that information to trick them into thinking that their lives are in danger and they need to come to us, and we will protect them, which we won't.
Agent Prada, do you remember any of those verses from that book you read? That might be a great call and response for them when they say, hey, are you sure you're on our side? You say, sure, I've heard of tree thingy from the orchard. I didn't read the book.
I don't know. Maybe I remember bits and pieces.
It might be enough.
We could certainly tell them that we know about James Farnsworth.
Yeah.
We could say that the Farnsworth family have sent us. I mean, they're all big freaking lies, but all we really need to do is get them isolated. And then your machine gun thing would probably work. I hope it would work.
Aim for the legs first. Honestly, don't even let them get out of the car once we identify them. Take it out.
Do we need to chase down Kleck? And do we think that'll provide us any more information on this?
I do. We only had half of his notes. I'm willing to bet he has the other half.
We also need to prepare to dispose of bodies. Your fire probably will work, but we got to make sure. We got to have trash bags and. Wow, this is way more involved than I expected.
Yeah. Hope you've got enough vacation time.
They'll just think I'm eccentric.
So what, are we taking a trip out to Texas now?
I thought he was.
No, that's
town,
right. He's here. That the rehab center's in Texas.
Kleck's in town. Do we just want to abduct him and just right off the street?
Good. We don't really have the muscle. That would get a lot of attention though. If we could do it in a parking garage or something like that.
Do we want him, or are the notes what we care more about? I mean, if it's notes, maybe we could just go in at night, take what files he has on her. Then we don't have some person calling the police on us later after we turned him loose.
Okay, I think that's a good idea.
He would not be being turned loose, just so we're clear on that. He tried to kill us with a box of whatever the hell that sock puppet was.
You're right. Maybe get some more information on that fucking thing too.
Do we want to plan for a raid on the offices then?
Do you think anything is still there?
On his office in LA? We haven't touched that.
Oh, that's true.
I was thinking we could have Parsnip maybe hack into the cameras, just erase that data, and we can move in.
If I'm being honest, and don't mean to step on you, Parsnip. If this guy has magic, I don't want to get distracted with him. There's no telling what he can do. At least with London and Jess, we have a rough idea.
We're talking about the doctor.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he's got to go home and sleep sometime. He's a doctor.
Tell you what, Parsnip, why don't you give me an unnatural roll? And yeah, we'll call it plus 20.
Plus
because
20?
Yeah, because this isn't just this is a specific subject that you know about. So go ahead and roll.
Okay.
You have a specialization in this field.
Holy cow. I just rolled a 3.
Wow, you didn't even need it. From what you understand from your studies, Parsnip, into the realm of dreams and the dream realm, it seems that whatever magic, if any, or hypergeometry that Dr. Kleck knows about, that he got from his mentor, Dr. Niles Garmel, is different than what James Farnsworth could do. It's not like James Farnsworth could do hypergeometry and do things in the waking world. But what Dr. Kleck and his mentor do almost as a weird kind of science and medicine, but there's this weird connection to dreams and occultism that you feel like they can manipulate those things, perhaps, but like I said, it's kind of limited to the psyche and dreams. So it is not as direct as, say, James Farnsworth's magic, which could do something like summon a thing or do something to your head, like, take away a memory.
So he's only gonna, this hypergeometry thing is only going to be effective in somebody's dreams.
Either you'd have to be asleep or hypnotized, you feel like. You'd have to be put into some altered state of consciousness for their methods to really work. From what you understand that you think they're capable of from your studies in the same field.
Now, we don't know, though, that Jess doesn't know hypergeometry as well. He is from that Farnsworth clan.
Which we go to our other person that has some info. Yes, that's 100% Prada. If you feel like if Jess knows a modicum of what James knew and had in his tome, then he can very much do dangerous hypergeometry that can affect you, even if you're not in an altered state of consciousness, as opposed to what the doctors might be able to do. Very different. You feel like it's hard to even describe or explain in terms that we have some of this stuff, but like you think that these are connected but different realms within the sphere of unnatural studies, like different types of hypergeometry, if that's even a thing that you could say.
It's the warping of the real world in some way.
So, Parson, are we okay to break into Dr. Kleck's office?
Oh yeah, I'm
okay.
Good for B&E.
We'll be thorough. Make sure he goes home. Make sure his office.
I'm talking
closes.
like middle of the night. No one is nearby.
Yeah, just get those cameras disabled. We go in and
we know where his office is. We know where his office is.
Yes, yes, he has a doctor's office and a sleep center in
LA. I'll tell you what I'll do. I can drive there and park across the street, and when he leaves for the day, I'll follow him home and park down the street and keep an eye. Tell you, he's coming back to the office.
Okay,
so you
That's
guys
a good
will know
idea.
that he's in place.
Can anyone pick a lock? How are we going to get into this place?
Maybe it's got key cards.
Maybe we can snag a key card from a nurse.
So as you arrive, why doesn't somebody give me a luck roll?
Oh, are we already in the process?
Yes, if you want to be, making your way there.
Fine, I'll roll.
All right. Why don't you drive around the block? We can see if there's multiple exits and entrances.
Rather, I suppose I should ask you, is there anything you wanted to do before you, did that? Go visit, the office tonight?
Well, we'll drive by so that we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, scope out the place.
Sure. So yeah, go ahead.
I'll park and follow him home.
So after swapping out Airbnbs and vehicles and making your way over to his office, it's about early evening. And as you go by, go ahead and somebody can do me a luck roll. Or did you roll that rather already? Sorry?
I did it.
Okay. You see, actually, there are cars outside. It looks like he's doing a sleep study.
We have to do it in the daytime.
So what are you going to stake the place out? Do you want to come back tomorrow? What is the plan?
Take it out at least for now.
Sure.
Doesn't everybody sleep studies every single night with different people? He doesn't necessarily have to be there. He's probably got a couple of flunkies that monitor the stuff.
So yeah, as you stake it out for a little while, go ahead and everybody can give me an alertness.
Everyone or just one person?
Anybody? It sounds like everybody's there, right?
Yeah.
Think so.
On the
Yeah.
nose.
I passed.
All right. An hour or two go by. It's more towards about middle of the night, closer to midnight now, and you do see that a car, or rather a SUV, a Subaru, pulls up and parks in the parking lot. And you see a woman step out, a female figure, and it looks like she's going inside.
Can we see who she is?
Did we recognize her? Is that London?
It was not. You don't think it was London? You couldn't quite get a super good look from here in the dark, but it doesn't really. The height doesn't quite match up.
Okay, I'm going on a limb here, out on a limb. Is it that representative for Wuxi, Jen?
It is not.
Okay.
Might be nobody.
Well, get the
Time is it that
plates.
she goes
We
in?
should get the plates.
Yeah, you're able to take down the plates. It's a generic plate.
What time is it that she's going
GBS54. What was that?
What time is it that she's going in?
It's about midnight. That she seems to be going inside.
What
You
what
don't.
kind of car is it?
It is a
nice
Subaru.
vehicle.
It's a decent SUV, a few years old, a
Okay.
Subaru. It looks like. Probably a rent. Maybe a rental or something like that. Looks like it's been maintained.
Are we thinking person of interest?
I don't know.
Doesn't look like Emily Chang, I assume.
No.
Chang was the only
Yeah, okay.
person I would have thought of.
It doesn't look like any female
Anyone
that
we
you
know.
have
Okay.
identified, at least not from the look you got so far.
Can Agent Parsnip run the plates? Sure.
I can certainly try.
Sure, you can tap into the systems that Paragon and Pawn have access to. Go ahead and give me a luck roll to see how quickly you get that information.
Oh, geez, that. That's a 96.
So it is tracing, but it's going to take a little bit to come back. Do you want to wait for that information, or do you want to act now?
I'm just gonna wait for it because I've got nothing else to do.
I think we can never be too sure. So, is the SUV parked where a camera is? It's obvious.
No, it doesn't seem to be. The parking lot doesn't seem to have cameras.
Okay, can I
it
take
looks
a
like yeah?
can I take a stroll by the vehicle and just swiftly plant a GPS device on it? Locate
Yes,
it?
you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that and then just take a walk around the block like I'm just passing by.
Okay.
You should check the doors to see if it's open. Reach inside, look at the registration.
Yeah, I guess I could. I could slip on a glove, and I don't want to set off a car alarm.
Oh, that's true. If you see the little blinking light, then
Yeah.
Yeah, you can try to break in if you'd like to give me a criminology.
Okay, I'll do a criminology. $81 fail.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, you look around, see if there's any way, any trick you learned from catching perps, and anything you could think of in your experience that you've seen someone do, but unfortunately, it does look like it has a good security system on it, and you don't have any idea how to spoof that or to get through that.
All right, but I do put the GPS on it.
you could run up and grab her purse when she comes out.
Oh yeah, very stealthy.
Oh, you don't have to be stealthy. You just have to get away.
It's true.
All right, yeah. So what did you all want to do? It looks like it'll be a little bit before the information comes back, but it seems like there is a new arrival to the sleep lab.
Well, if we go by Delta Green, if there's not any easy access, we need to come back tomorrow rather than, I don't know. Kind of want to find out.
Well, we could this is a thought. We could try cutting the power.
That'll cause a great deal of disruption. We could also wait until about 6 a.m. Because usually sleep studies are over by 6 a.m. and they let the person go home. And then they go home. And then the doctor might not show up until 10 o'clock. It might be that.
Not a bad idea. That's not.
I like cutting the power because then all the doctors are busy checking their patients, making sure they're okay. Which allows us some time to slip in and get out.
It's not too obvious though when they find out someone cut their power. Like that feels, I don't know, aggressive and ominous from their end.
Then hit a telephone pole a few spans down. Knock out a transformer. Take out power for the whole block.
That's not a bad idea. Because then it looks like an accident and they tell all their patients you're going to have to go home, and we'll pick this up once they've repaired the. But then you are going to get a repair crew out here.
Yeah, but they'll be repairing the pole, not the building.
All right, yeah. Don't use our card. Use grab somebody.
You're just hoping that
card.
the files are on paper and not the computers, but yeah.
Well, we can always take their hard drives.
But then they'll know that we've stolen.
That's true. So steal a car and crash it into a pole.
Who's doing that?
Make sure. Well, you don't have to be in the car when it hits.
No, of course.
So what are you planning on? Which pole specifically are you planning on running into?
Well, that we have to determine where the power is going into the building.
It'd be the pole with the transformer on it.
And hopefully it's not one of the ones behind the building, which might not even be accessible. It might be in somebody's back.
Yeah, usually you can look at the secondary line and it goes right to the transformer.
And
That's powering the building.
actually, about the computers, they probably have UPS systems hooked up to the computers, just in case the power does go down.
We could bring one just in case we need to power up a computer.
Yeah.
That's really smart. Yeah.
Well, I'm not here for my looks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so if we're all in agreement, then I'm going to go steal a car.
All right.
Better you than me.
All right, so Paragon stealing a car.
All right, Paragon, you got this. You're a badass. All right.
So you're just gonna like look around for something that's old, maybe doesn't have a security system.
Yeah, something I can hotwire.
Sure. Yeah, I mean with your alertness, luckily LA is a very busy place. There's a lot of cars, and not all of them are new. So you find something old, and you do recognize it looks like it's manual. Even though it looks like windows, doors, everything is old school.
Buick.
So yeah, right. Or I mean, believe it or not, my car does not have electric windows or anything like that. It's so they still make some stuff like that. So it's an older model or one of the cheap ones. And so you were able to find it, and you take a little bit of time, and you're able to get in because that there's no security system. So you basically jam a wire in there, and with enough time, you eventually get it open.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to get a brick as well, so I can set that on the accelerator without even.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
they're risky for myself.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, is basically you're going to line it up to the the pole with the transponder and just put a brick to the gas?
Oh yeah.
All right. I guess. I guess. Why don't you give me? Suppose this would be a luck roll. I guess. See exactly how this goes.
50 on the nose.
All right. That's. I believe that is good. Or wait.
I'm pretty sure it's good.
Yes, because it's 1 to 50 or 0 to or 51 to 100. So that is good. Yes.
Oh,
So that is good. You landed, like the coin almost flipped the other way, but then it landed where you needed it to go. So yeah, you sort of launch this car, and this old sedan zooms toward this power beam, and it runs into of course the power beam, and takes this pole down, and there's sparks flying from the transformers, and it does look like it takes off a number of bits of power along the street.
Timber.
It looks like it is, yeah. Yeah, and everyone, it gets out of the way. I'm assuming nobody was nearby that specific pole.
It's the middle of the night. So hopefully not.
Yeah, so it looks like the power, for this little street has been knocked out for the moment. What do you immediately do?
Well, we don't do anything immediately because we're going to have to wait for them inside to realize that it's not just a breaker. And then the police will come and they'll hear the fire department, and then they'll look out the windows and they'll go, oh, somebody hit the pole. And then they'll tell everybody they have to go home.
So that's the thing.
Half an hour.
Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to happen. You wait about a half an hour and nobody comes out.
We can tell the power's off in this building, right? Like it's not
Correct.
lights on,
Yes.
generator running.
But yeah, at 10, 15, are you going to wait the full 30 minutes? Because yeah, it looks like about 10, 15, 20 minutes go by and it's still nobody's come out.
What are they doing in
So
there?
We need to go in.
Maybe there's something horribly wrong.
It's not
What
a
if
sleep
it's-
study.
What if it's a front?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then we bring our guns in.
Whoa. So
We're going
we're talking
to.
about going in right now, guns blazing. This is fast action that gets people killed.
Well, we need to go around the back of the building to a window and do some peeking
I agree with that.
to see if we
Okay.
see something weird going on, like they're all naked and worshiping the darkness or something.
So you're going to come, are you going to go like sneak around to the back of the building?
Sneak
Or?
around to the
Yeah.
back
Well,
of the
does
building.
anyone
It's gonna
have
be
night vision
almost
goggles?
No, not at all.
Flashlights would give us a
Flash.
light immediately.
We just have to be careful. Sneak around in the dark. There'll be a little bit of light from the moon, maybe.
Did you bring your gear bag? You did not. Or did you drive, Paragon? Or you drove? Or were you the ones that flew?
Oh, we drove. So
Oh,
we
yeah,
got
drove.
all of the
Guns,
illegal
yeah.
stuff
Did
in the
you-
car.
I believe you actually have one single set of NVGs.
Oh,
Oh, we do.
Let me double check what your sheet says.
of course, those glow green, don't they? Or at least is that just in movies?
I don't have NVGs on my sheet.
Not unless we got them from the green box, but I don't remember us getting them from there. Maybe that's what the gun does. You shoot, you use the battery and you give somebody night vision for a while.
Yeah, my apologies. I guess SWAT gear doesn't include NVGs. That is. Okay.
Well,
Maybe
we're
with a
cool.
luck
I
roll?
mean,
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I hate to make too many luck rolls happen in this in one session, but why don't you give it a luck roll? Because I feel like that's something that you potentially would have brought. Yeah, I think that I understand why potentially not every SWAT team go bag would have NVGs, but I feel like that's something that they do often have to use. So we'll say that you do. You have
how many?
one set of NVGs, and it's kind of like you borrowed a set from work. Like if you don't bring this back, you might somebody on your team your actual team might get flagged for it.
These things cost thousands of dollars.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
All right, I'll take a point then.
One set. So yeah, who's going point?
Don't shine that light into my face.
Yes.
I'm
While
shining
you're
light, man.
sneaking around the
I
building,
like
why don't you go ahead and give me an alertness with those NVGs?
44. Pass.
Yeah. So with the crit, you're kind of like looking around. It's kind of dark back here. There's some light from the building, but sort of in the streets and alleyways. Aside from the street lights that you kind of avoid. You put your NVGs on to look around for a little bit. There's sort of this
streetlights.
This. Oh yeah, the streetlights are out too. So it's only the ones that are from the next street over that kind of give you some loose illumination. But all the ones on this street are out. So it is kind of hard to see for everybody else.
I I'm armed with my MP5 at this point.
Noted. Yeah.
No one can see me.
Gotcha. That's a good idea. So yeah, you actually you take your gun out. There's sort of hair that sticks up on the back of your neck. You get this sort of feeling. You glance as you go around the side of the building. You glance back to the parking lot, and you glance back with your NVGs to spot the female figure leave the front door and very quickly get in the Subaru and start driving away.
Let her go. We're tracking her car anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And so you were able to note that, and you were all at the back door. It looks like this had a similar to the other to the facility in Ohio from Focus Group. That looks like there's sort of a back, sort of a drop off, sort of shipment and delivery entrance or back entrance rather.
Delta Green doesn't have lock picking. What would you use to pick?
It's a special skill. You have lock picking, but it's a trained skill.
Yeah.
Are we trying to be that stealthy?
Criminology, I guess, would
It's
be the
pitch
alternative.
black.
Break the window if the alarms are down from the power. Just break it. We need to get in and get out. If they're going to notice we stole something no matter what.
Okay, then in and out quick. Is anyone going with me to cover my back?
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, we're not letting you go alone.
Okay.
The guy you replaced was gung-ho just like this. And
You've got your body armor on, right? Agent Paragon? Very good.
Yes, I do.
So did he. Anyway, so you approach the back door, and one of you does the classic, sort of wrap up your your arm or your elbow and knock out the window of one of the the back industrial doors and reach your hand in, and you're able to sort of shimmy it in or batter it and get it open. And so you make your way inside. It obviously is very dark and very quiet. Back here, it looks like I said, this is sort of the back hall. Paragon taking point can see. It's dark. It looks like the power is still off, and it looks like I said, this is a back sort of storage hallway, which leads into the sleep lab, and it looks like it leads back to the sort of front lobby, where the rest of the offices can be accessed.
All right, let's just get to the offices. Taking a peek into the sleep lab itself, is there a window?
There is, yes. There is a window there's a couple different rooms, and then there's sort of a room next to it that is sort of where they monitor from.
So what's weird about it if no one's left yet? Are there people sleeping in the sleep lab?
No. In fact, as you go up, it looks like there is somebody. It looks like it's like somebody was sleeping or was using this room. That looks like there is cookies and like a little thing of milk, that's left on the little side table, like somebody had a midnight snack before going to bed. The bed is not made correctly. There's some machines that have connections that can be connected into, but there's nobody in this room.
It's clear.
Our mystery woman looks like. Yeah, let's get to the offices pronto.
So she was eating cookies middle of the night.
We don't have time to speculate. Let's go.
All right. Yep.
We bust open a door? We probably set off an alarm, which means we need to be moving quickly.
No power.
There's no electricity.
No power.
Oh, that's right.
So for now, you're all right. And at least until electricity comes back, or if there is a fail-safe or backup, until that starts up or kicks in. Which looks like it hasn't so far. See, as you continue, you said you're going to continue into the sort of the main around the hallway to the main lobby to get into the offices, which you can access from there. So as you kind of come around, you kind of leave the sort of a hallway that connects the back area to the front, and as you step out, unfortunately, Paragon, you smell the distinct smell of a body, and as you all come out into the hallway, you all see as you come out, rather not in the hallway, but in the lobby. Unfortunately, there is a slumped over figure at the desk, like at the counter. And Paragon, you look over and you do see a bullet hole in the back of their head. There seems to be some sort of a pistol. You feel like it's probably silenced, given you didn't hear it from outside. And she is unfortunately dead. As you continue to look, you see on one of the couches, It looks like there is somebody like splayed, like they were mid-movement and they got shot and they collapsed. And it looks like they are also, unfortunately, have been killed by a pistol. And you do see the doors to the number of offices, one of which being Dr. Kleck's, and it is closed.
Woman was an assassin of some sort.
March.
Maybe they didn't grab the stuff yet. So straight to Dr. Kleck's office.
If this is March, they've got a crew coming up soon. We need to move.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like split up, take
All right,
rooms,
two of you
clear, sweep.
I do believe
Yeah.
a few of you are not adapted to violence. So
I
pull
Would
everything here.
Yeah,
love
I'm
to
not-
roll on that.
Yep. So this will be so everyone that doesn't have adapted isn't adapted to violence, go ahead and roll a sanity sanity check. On a failure, it is 1. On a success, it is 0 for finding a mangled carcass or corpse.
I failed.
It's just a single point. However, go ahead and check one of those boxes that you've taken damage from sanity damage from violence.
I'm
One-
adapted, baby.
Are you adapted to violence? Did that adapt
That's
you?
exactly what I wanted.
All right. Congratulations on being adapted to violence. I do believe, let me pull up the exact thing here. Unfortunately, you're going to have to take some charisma away, though, because you
it's
are
bad.
a little jaded, Pawn, now that you're sort of adapted to this. So let me just pull up. I want to make sure I get this exactly correct. So it's page.
I got an
68. There we go.
11. Does that make anything special happen?
Well, on a crit success, I might let you, if it was a 1, take 0, but it's already a 0. So, all right. So,
1d6 from charisma and the same
Yes,
amount
thank you.
from
Yes,
each
it is.
bond.
yes, because when you reduce your charisma, it reduces your maximum bond and all the bonds that you can get. Yeah, 5. That is a hefty number. Does that actually knock out any bonds?
It knocks out 2 of them.
Ow. Okay. You're gonna have to roll another sanity check for that.
Sorry, Agent Paragon. I'm not that good of a friend with you anymore.
Oh, tragic.
This is gonna go great.
And what's the
That was a
thought?
failure. Yeah, that was
Okay.
a failure. Both my wife and Agent Paragon dropped to 0.
Okay, so go ahead and take off a d6, and then I suppose roll another sanity check.
2 and a failure. So I am past my breaking point as well.
All right, well, then we'll talk about a disorder later after the game. But yeah, so and then you said you lost 2, and then did you succeed or fail the second one?
Oh, failed.
Okay, and so then roll another d6, unfortunately.
Delicious.
So this was Paragon and your wife?
Yes.
Ouch. Okay.
Ooh, that is 6.
Oof. Would you like to project onto one of the
Yeah.
other bonds that you have?
Yeah,
Okay.
he will. He
Roll
will.
a d4 as this catastrophe, this cascade
4,
of dominoes of sanity happens in Pawn's head. All right, so you take 4 off of
Off
that
of
bond.
the sister, so she's down to
Okay.
1.
Okay,
All right.
and then 4 from your current willpower.
All right. Life's
Okay,
good.
and
Things are
so you
going great.
Yeah, so you all see kind of Pawn looks a little bit shaken by the looks of these bodies and the sort of horrid realization of what you just happened sort of right in front of you or right near you, and like what's going through Pawn's head as the bond with Paragon shatters and the feelings for your wife go sour.
He's completely into survival at this point. Is where it goes. Is he sees this and he realizes that the amount of violence that he is going to have to inflict to get out of this is going to change him forever, because he sees this and knows there's no way that he's getting out without killing a lot of people.
Yeah, and I mean you've seen you've seen bodies before, you've seen stuff like this before, but just the horrid realization of these 2 random people just died because they were just in the wrong place. And that your family, your friends could die just for knowing you, and you feel a lot less like hanging out with your wife or asking Paragon how he feels or if he wants to go for a beer later.
He's just gonna disappear from his wife's life completely.
Yeah, and so like some of that we'll kind of mention later in the home scenes if we do, because it'll be like the Paragon thing is sort of an immediate kind of like Your bond is irreparably damaged, but the wife thing, that'll be a little bit of a more long-term loss of somebody. All right, perfect. Little wonderful side escapade into one of the wonderful facets of Delta Green. All right, so that, like I said, that little domino of sanity and adaption and bad coping happens in Pawn's head as you all continue forward. And Paragon, you said you were going up to the door to the office, right, to open it up. So is everyone gonna go in, or does anybody want to
We're following behind.
Okay. Yeah, so you're all together still. Paragon, you are able to get the door open, and as you open the door, unfortunately, you hear skittering and are soon met with another abysmal sight. You see another one of these creatures, and you realize that there are a number of pieces and a disembodied head as you've stumbled upon, unfortunately, another sight of some sort of body explosion. It is inexplainable. These disgusting amalgamations of flesh that animate and move in ways that shouldn't be describable with words that we have. And I need everybody to roll a sanity versus the unnatural now, as you all are come upon this sight. Like I said, they're kind of skittering around, and they, some of them start moving towards you, and you see the disembodied head of Dr. Kleck kind of faintly moving and going, please, kind of trying to say something in all the chaos. So what did everybody get?
Dr. Kleck, are you okay?
I got a 5, so I'm good.
I got an 08.
I'm good.
All right.
Sorry.
Not freaked out.
So if you failed, go ahead and roll so this would be okay. So this would be actually so yes. So since this is the second group you've seen, but is another site with the disgusting head and everything, go ahead and roll. It'll be a D6 on a failure and 1 on a success from the unnatural.
So we're rolling a D6 on this one?
Correct. If you failed.
Okay. 6.
Because it's rather
6 as well.
Oh geez. All right. We're gonna have some bouts here. You're gonna pick your fight, flight, or freeze, or would you like to project?
I don't think I can without putting another bot.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna project actually.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. And
so roll a D4 and subtract it from the damage you're taking, your current willpower points, and a bond.
Okay. So I rolled a 4.
Okay.
Nice.
So you're gonna
not nice for the bond.
Take 2 sanity damage, 4 bond damage, and 4 willpower points away. Which bond are you taking this from?
Well, I've got a friend from college, Paul Graves. We've been friends for years. We went through college together. So I'm gonna stop talking to him for a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, maybe he's into like dark comics or something. Like he's one of those guys that's into like weird comics and stuff like this. And you just like something he showed you, like some movie or comic book reminds you of these disgusting creatures, and it just kind of taints the memory. And you're like, I don't want to talk to him right now. And so that kind of sours your relationship there somewhat. Big 4 is a big hit. All right. So you see, like I said, this disembodied head is kind of like trying to speak, and it kind of like looks over and it sees somebody, and it says, kind of looks at you with purpose, and it kind of says, faintly, it's like 1792, help her. And then there's kind of some horrid screaming as the sort of head, kind of like some pieces kind of move around, and the head kind of moves and twitches, and then unfortunately sort of starts to go lifeless. What do you all do? I believe, was it Paragon has the highest dexterity, correct? Highest would go first.
I have like 90.
Oh,
85.
I've got 75.
It's Patch and then Paragon, correct?
All right. I took almost no sanity damage in any of this. I'm adapted to violence. I took just 1 for seeing the head. 1790, was it 5 or 2? I think I wrote it down wrong.
1792.
That's London's number. I'm scoring the office for like files, patient, like anything. Like this is, I've strode past it. I'm like looking quickly.
I don't think the office is clear.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm just trying to get down to business here. I'm hoping you guys will pick up the fight.
Oh, we will.
Is the computer on? Remember, the power's out, but they've got backups. Battery backups.
It looks like the computer is on, but it looks like there is also notes on his desk.
Yeah, I'm picking all those up.
Yeah.
Picking them up, yep.
Yeah, so you see a bunch. You can go ahead and do, I guess, a search in the heat of the moment to see if you find exactly what you're looking for. Or
if he's
just
got a computer, I'm grabbing it. If he's got notes, I'm taking them. I'm moving.
Well, it's a tower, so that,
I'll take the tower.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a success, regular success, but it's a success.
Yeah. So I find some pages of notes. You think you see 1792, so you just grab it, you throw it on top of the computer tower, you unplug it from the battery back up on the wall where it's all plugged into, and you rip some wires as you pull it away. Meanwhile, what is everybody else doing? So Paragon, I believe you are next up, and then we go to our 260s.
All right, no more fucking games. Full auto. How many bits are moving towards us?
Looks like there are actually about 6 of these pieces. These disgusting pieces of Dr. Kleck, maybe, that are animated and just moving impossibly.
All right, if I do a long spray, that makes a kill radius of 3 meters. Should get all of them.
You can pretty much get almost all of them with that one. Yeah.
Okay. 1 roll or 6?
This would be, I believe, 1 roll. So first make a firearms roll. See how many people you get in this.
I rolled an 11.
Well, there you go. All right. In that case, go ahead and roll me a lethality roll.
20%?
Yes, 20% on an MP5. And if you get over it, I want you to tell me double the 2 numbers added together.
16.
Yes, so it was like it ended up.
That's 8, right? Under the 20%.
Oh, you got a 16 on the dice.
I just spray them all down.
Yes, you spray, and it looks like you cut up these things. And it is only one that isn't quite in the meters, and it's mostly because it's behind the others. So you take down 5 of these things. You use up your whole clip. You spray the entire MP5, but there is just one, and it's sort of towards the back. As you cut up these things, there's bits of flesh, blood, bone, skin, lining, who knows what is all these different pieces, and you're not quite sure. Patch, you're not even quite sure what all these pieces are as they're flying everywhere. And yes, it is highly effective at chopping them up. However, there is still the one, and it is scuttling towards you all. I believe now we go to our 60s, and so Pawn, it is at this point, you took the full 6, right?
Oh yeah.
So are you going to fight,
fight,
flight, or freeze?
Fight.
All right. So what would your natural reaction? There is a single, looks like moving enemy left in the room.
I mean, he's going to shoot it and then keep shooting it for a while, probably.
All right. So just sort of like a muscle reflex, this thing's, farther away. So your first instinct is pull your gun. Go ahead and give us a firearms roll.
44.
Wow. Okay.
I don't have the carbine in front of me. Sorry.
Are you using the carbine?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is a D12.
I should have it right here.
If you're just using a single shot. So go ahead and roll a D12 and double it.
16 damage.
Wow. Yeah. So that takes out the last one. You kind of kind of shoot a bullet when there was a squelch, as maybe perhaps one of them. You think maybe it's one of the Kleck's organs pops and splatters. That was the sort of main body for this disgusting, creature. And it looks like you have dispatched them. You are, however, still kind of very frantic and sort of like looking around, like there's finding another target. And so unless somebody calms you down, you could potentially start running out the back door.
Oh, I think he's going office to office and kicking down the doors, and then just firing into it to begin with. Sure.
Yeah. So you see as we sort of drop out of the formal initiative here, Pawn continues, he goes, there could be somebody else in the next office. So he goes, to one of, Dr. Kleck's associates or, his underling doctors, kicks the office in and just starts shooting into an empty office. Looks like he empties the clip for the clip of the carbine, takes out another one, reloads, starts going to the next room. What does everyone do?
Pawn, we've got to go. There are cops and firemen just across the street.
Fucking swarm this place. Light it all on fire. We got to run.
Before we go, I want to do a quick search through Kleck's office and see if I can find anything that resembles the box that has the markings of the box on it.
Good idea.
Yeah, do a search.
Search roll. No. All
right. Yeah. Unfortunately, looks like the box was kind of its own enigma. You don't specifically find that similar or anything. You do find some more notes that kind of corroborate what you already knew. Just some more sleep study stuff. It seemed like, in fact, actually some copies, or rather, like where the first place that the place you were at in Ohio. You get a lot of his Dr. Niles, Garmel's journals and stuff like that goes back. There's some stuff like that here, maybe like a few missing months, or some like further studies into similar things, or like associated studies and comparisons of that study to a different study. So kind of more stuff that kind of corroborates that Dr. Kleck was very much involved in some strange, very strange work.
Well, whatever we can find that's flammable, throw it on the floor and light it, and let's get out.
Yep. I'm hauling the files in the computer. I've got all that. I'm at least trying to get it out of the building.
I'm helping you.
Files would probably burn gasoline from a vehicle. This is probably your best bet you can think of.
We don't have time to get that. If there's alcohol anywhere in the room, even if it's just rubbing alcohol.
There's like a
clean your hands out.
A bottle of brandy. Yeah, there's a bottle of brandy in his drawer of his desk. It's high proof.
Is it good brandy?
It does look like good brandy. Yeah.
Well, stop worrying about the brandy. Come on, Brada, let's go.
You could potentially start up a fire at least in the room.
All right, let's just do that and get the hell out.
All right.
Con would like to. Oh, if he would, while you're getting that ready, he's just kind of looking over what's left of Dr. Kleck's body. He's looking for needles or anything of that ilk.
What do you know?
You said that you saw a bullet hole in his forehead.
You see, along his arm, it looks like somebody jabbed something, like a needle or some kind of implement into his arm. It doesn't look like there's any other, and that's, like I said, that's his severed arm, by the way. In fact, it looks like it's attached to one of the creatures that Paragon quickly, dispatched. So you kind of have to pick around the bullet holes. But it does look like, other than the wounds you've caused, the best you can tell from these disgusting parts is that, other than the obvious implosion or explosion of themselves, that with needle mark seems to be the only mark that you notice that's really discernible.
He's just gonna hold up the arm while they're running around starting fires, be like, look, she must have stabbed him.
Maybe.
I'm fine.
Can we collect that for later?
Sure.
Needle.
We'll bag it up.
Oh, is there a needle in it still, or is it just the arm? Is the needle still there?
There is actually a partially jammed. It's actually just the somebody jammed it and then ripped. So it seems like part of the needle head is embedded in the arm, but sure. the rest of it is gone. Yes.
Yeah, he'll just reach in there with his gloves and pull it out. Yep, I got you, Parsnip. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right.
We don't have to go back out the window. We can just go out the back door now.
Yep. We scoped out the place.
So you run out the door. I assume you're running back to the vehicle.
Yeah.
As you were all loading up and getting in, you do hear sirens in the distance at this point.
Time to go.
Yep.
It is a good time. It is a good thing that you left, because you do see as you're starting to pull away, indeed, the fire engine and police vehicles do seem to be arriving, and so you're just barely able to get away before before they really notice or can get or can stop you.
Back to our secret lair.
I have to look at all this stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, are you okay, Vaughn?
I mean, he looks at you. His eyes are red. He's probably been crying as he fired. Yeah, I'm fine.
Hey, you did good out there.
I know. It's all right.
So
this is
using it as a weapon.
This is the bells. It's all of them. It's all their fucking family and their fucking cult.
They're definitely weaponizing her. That Phelps guy fed us shit. He knew we were going to be here too. He recommended that we check out the click.
You're right. He did. Specifically, by name, mentioned him.
Kleck seems to think too that London's some part of this, that she needs our help. What, do the bells have something on her? She must not be free.
It's worth looking into now that we know March's intentions. And we still have that GPS. We still have that license plate being run. It's probably goes to fake ID.
It probably goes to a farm.
So who was the assassin?
A bell.
Yeah.
Somebody who came.
So are you going to make your way back to the Airbnb to speak? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To this point, a person definitely has received the trace that the vehicle belongs to it was rented by a Lori Brown, who, when you look up upon, seems faintly similar to Frank Phelps. About 3 years ago, just appears out of nowhere. Documents start happening out of nowhere without much clear indication of where this person came from before then.
That makes her sound like March.
Yeah, she works for March. But how did she get access to the blood of London Sinclair?
Weaponization.
They might have got it from the phlebotomy lab.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Because
I don't
think we picked up the vial of her blood that was in the phlebotomy lab. So that's possible.
The thing is that why did they assassinate him? Because this is definitely an assassination.
Because we were getting too close to the truth.
We saw bullet holes in some of the receptionist's heads. That woman came in here, murdered those people, found him, and infected him.
Yeah, and we're down a lead. Well, hopefully these notes, we can look them over.
Yes. Once we get back and we can find out what's on that computer. Hopefully we can get into it.
Yeah, the computer will take some more time, but did you want to look over the notes that Patch found?
Can I check the GPS first? Or is that pinging?
Sure. You've noticed that the GPS has gotten on the interstate, and it is heading out of state. It's heading towards Arizona, looks like.
Arizona?
5 hours.
I thought that it'd just go to Phelps' apartment.
It's going rather that direction. So you don't know if it's going to stop there, but
Going all the way to Texas.
I'll keep an eye on it. Looks like we have the evidence board update.
all right. So did you want to you want to take a look at that at those notes, right?
Yeah.
All right. And so you see it looks to be a full copy of what you found before. This looks to be what you found was sort of a partial photocopy of this. Some old notes that go back all the way to 1994. Some of this is what you found previously. So we can start if you want to. This is where the new stuff begins. It's down here at 2008.
March 14th, 2008. Client returns in crisis. Victim of crime. Parents killed. Brakes deliberately tampered with per LAPD. Needs inpatient referral. Case manager to call the Ferguson Clinic.
Brakes tampered with. That means that her parents were murdered.
Yes.
So then it would go the one to the right, and then the one, and then the other one.
The July 7th?
Yes, it would go that
Okay.
one, and then, yeah.
Okay, July 7th, 2010. Patient seems happy and stable, seems to have made considerable progress on PTSD from 2008 crime. Prescription still ineffective, has formed a stable platonic relationship with surrogate mother, very beneficial. Career on rebound, does admit to some alcohol abuse ongoing, but even that has improved. The one below it is the date is
Yeah, so I think it's the 2012 one,
okay.
and then the paperclip is the most recent, I believe.
June 16th, 2012. Patient returns for first time since 2010. Improvement. Has been seeing other practitioners for maintenance / stress coping mechanism, but returns in crisis. Friend and confidant died in front of her, but reports delusion that she bled on her, few drops, and friend / confidant exploded. Moon-related nightmares have returned. Impression, resumption of delusions, possibly mediated by increased drug and alcohol use. Referred to the Ferguson Clinic for detox and calm environment. And the final one, which seems to be most recent, patient terrified, active delusions regarding blood dysphoria. Quote, I am a walking WMD, end quote. Being persecuted by media, moon-related nightmares recurring, substance abuse completely out of control, agreed to check herself into the Ferguson Clinic, case manager to call TFC, only place that ever seems to do patient any real or lasting good. Why is that?
The Ferguson Clinic. Because she doesn't know why she is this way.
Well, yeah, but why is that place the only place that seems to magically heal her, calm her?
Here's my theory. Perhaps they have an unnatural solution to her unnatural condition. And I think that's just our next lead. And we've got to watch our backs because now we know March Technologies is definitely against us.
The Ferguson Clinic was one of Kleck's places, right?
Yes.
It wasn't. Yes, he doesn't actually work there, but it is a place that he sends patients to. It's an associated clinic. He sends many of his celebrity clients there for rehab because of its privacy and level of care, and it's very nice.
Do they let your bodyguard go with you when you go to that place?
You'd have to do some research. You would imagine that typically no, but these kind of people often get the rules bent for them. So
she knows that she is a weapon of mass destruction, but she doesn't know why. She doesn't know why it's her.
It seems to cause her a great amount of distress, at least according to these reports.
It's because somebody made her this thing. Her father, obviously.
But then she turns around and attacks that clinic?
She's made her choice.
I agree. I mean, she's got to go either way.
Maybe she was trying to screw something up.
Maybe. I mean, this all happened, just a few days after her family farm in Ohio burned to the ground. She shows up in Ohio, attacks a clinic. It all seems a bit like it can't possibly be a coincidence.
Like a message?
We don't know where her loyalties lie either. We don't know if she loves her family or hates her family.
Man, either way, they all have to go.
Hey.
Yeah, this is a big old mess.
What, Parsnip?
I got an email.
Yeah, what is it?
It says, "Here, little hunter. I hope this helps. N." And there's an N, just a letter N.
Yeah, you take a look at the image.
Yeah, there's an image here.
We want to go ahead and read this for us, Parsnip?
Yeah. Legends and folklore of Appalachia. Several of those who believe was weak were seized and beheaded with a great axe. They died quickly, and their blood seeped into the bonfire. As before, one of they that hold sway appeared, but the throng was startled when Epiphany struck it from behind with her ritual blade, slicing off its head as well. This seemed only to perturb it, as the thing's vague head and vague body rolled and twitched in the dirt for some time after. Epiphany looked at her throng with contempt as she disrobed and mounted the thing. You are all farmers and shepherds, she said, so I will explain it to you in simple terms you can understand. You must be patient. It's like improving a herd. It takes time. Not every calf or ear is perfect. You must keep at it. Someday my ideal descendant will arrive, and then we will have the prosperity we wish for, and she will not need her head any more than her oh so great grandsire here does. She named the son of that union James, and he led the cult after she vanished on his 21st birthday. A more conventional tale of sacrifice was that of Amos Melling.
And as you look, as you close out of this, there seems to be a file sort of hidden within the image that you were able to get by looking at the code. And inside this picture, you get it's actually the photo, like a computer scanned Xeroxes of the first edition of the Legends and Folklore of Appalachia. So you now have a more original edition of the tome that seems to have been emailed to you encryptedly. And so this, you can potentially further read this and add to what you already have already. It seems that this version of the tome includes an additional hypergeometric ritual that is referred to as Join the Worlds Together. And it includes this excerpt, which you were sent an image of.
Interesting.
So that's where it's Epiphany. Do we know if there's a bell named Epiphany from way back? A witch?
Well, we know a James, and he might have lived until very recently.
Well, it would have been James's mother.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Headless father.
Damn it. So we can't just take her head off either.
Who sent us this?
Who's N?
Or N.
Who's in?
I don't know. It's just the letter N. And
how did they know to send it to us?
Yeah. I went ahead and put both of those handouts in the Discord as well.
I mean, does it look legit? Like, this isn't some doctored document. If this is real.
Yeah, it's a real document.
Well, it's a good warning.
And
Is that a good spot to...
Yeah, it seems like, so you're all, contemplating, what you found. It's about, 3 or 4 a.m. Dawn will soon be upon you as you're all settling down for a few hours, or, starting the coffee to keep going into the next day where we'll pick up next time. So what's everyone thinking as a final thought? What do you think you'll be doing immediately next? Any ideas? What to...
Crap. Sitting around and figuring this out.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to check is tomorrow. I want to check the news and see if our adventure hit the news. And if it did, what's it look like? Awesome. I'd like to, and of course, if it does hit the news, which police were on the case?
Yes, you can see if there's anything additional on Collect's computer to look into and look into that as our first things next time when we rejoin you all next week.
Cool. Our players included Holly Buteau, Nathan Decker, Julian Arba, Alex Sun, and myself with John Dos Passos as the Keeper of the Secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and push the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Delta Green role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.